Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Mastonomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here again for episode 237 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
So this is 237. We've got a lot of stuff. We've got a guest again today. It's Jack Reeves of Iron Resurgence, the promoter of America's Strongest Man. Really funny how that worked out. We had Travis Ortmeyer on the show, who is competing at American Strongest Man, and Travis shared his podcast episode with us. So then Jackson found out about it, and we ended up talking to him, and now we've got
the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history, as
history
they say.
About to be made.
History in the future.
History in the future.
Future history.
Yep.
And we have our enormous drip drop to talk about.
We do.
Our biggest drop ever that is live as of the time of you hearing this. We've got to cover that.
Hopefully by the time you're hearing this, it's all gone.
It's all gone and you're screwed.
It was a massive success.
It's the blue lift shorts syndrome.
that would be pretty cool.
We talked about it on the podcast forever, and then you actually can't buy any of it.
It didn't matter, yeah.
And we got a little strongman stuff to talk about, and probably just a little
and
life.
maybe a little something extra sprinkled in.
Some stuff. Before all of that, our sponsors. The Dream Team's back. The full foursome, fearsome foursome. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They are your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. We've got a discount code with them that you can utilize. It's MASS, M-A-S-S. That's in all caps. And it'll save you 5% off the site on any training or nutrition membership. That's hybridperformancemethod.com. And, of course, the show is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. All the way back in 1980. Can you remember that far back?
Just barely.
Yeah.
But if I try hard, I can.
Yep. Buddy Caps, back in 1980, he set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with. And the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Wow.
They don't call it the Dream Team for no reason.
They don't. I almost feel like whatever we do after this is just going to be a letdown.
I know. Should we just get into the longer form ad read?
Should we just go into the mid-roll ads right now?
The mid-show ads, and then right after that, we'll do the end-of-show ads.
And then just wrap it up.
That's a wrap. Sorry, Jackson Reeves. You got consumed by ads this week.
The ads took over.
So there is something a little unprecedented with this show. We're well known for our segments on this show, correct, Tommy? And what's one of your favorite segments that we usually do around this time of the show?
The most refreshing segment for sure is What's in That Can.
What's in the can? And do you remember what is our first ever segment?
Our first ever Tanner Sack?
Yeah. Those are the two segments we're dealing with here. And today we're going to take those two segments and we're going to...
You dumped a can into your sack?
This is what it's like what Power Man 5000 said. This is what it's like when worlds collide.
That's a very good analogy there.
Yeah.
Also takes me back to my Tony Hawk days, hearing that kick flipping over a half pipe there.
There was a funny thing on Saturday Night Live. You should look up the scene. It was either this week or last week, where a kid's in his basement in the 90s is playing Tony Hawk. And someone, I can't remember the premise of the sketch because the Tony Hawk part was just killing me, that someone from the future comes and they want to show him things about the future. And, or wait, it's his self. I think it's his future self. He's still in the basement in 2020 just playing Tony Hawk, but he's playing it on PS4. And it's like the new version. And like, he doesn't give a crap about anything else. He's like, whoa, like seriously, look at the graphics. It is like real. Because he went from like 1997 to 2020. He's like, what is that you're playing it on? And he's like, because PS4, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not even the newest. You know, and he goes,
PS5
this is just my old PS4. And he's like, what? PS4? You know, it was really funny. He's like, the people look fucking real.
Yeah. I mean, all of our brains would have done that.
And I think it was like almost like this is, if you don't go out and do something in your life, you're just going to end up playing Tony Hawk in the basement. And he was like stoked about it. Then he was like, oh,
it was kind of like the ghost of Christmas past showing you what could be going on.
And he was just excited about
Tony Hawk.
Back to what I was getting at. We're going to merge what's in the can and
Power Man 5000.
Yes. And Power Man 5000 and is it what's in the sack and what's in the can?
Tanner's sack.
Two what?
Yeah.
Is it two what's is things together?
What's in the sack?
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so close your eyes.
Okay. They are closed.
And this is also a slightly unconventional what's in the can. And I'm going to see if this even fits in a koozie. It does not. So we're going to abandon the koozies.
They're closed. They're closed still.
Abandon the koozies. Keep your eyes closed. You're going to
closed.
notice something when you feel this that's unconventional, but just roll with it. And the reason that this is also a what's in the sack segment is this was sent to us by someone, and we'll get to that.
So is this a bottle of ammonia that you're going to trick me into drinking?
No, it's safe. But what do you notice?
So it's definitely a bottle.
Yeah.
But it feels like a big, kind of feels like a big like club soda bottle.
So I'm also opening mine right here now too.
It hasn't sprayed all over me yet, so that's a win.
So your Tommy's sniffing. He's giving it a sniff test.
I can't. It's so tall, I can't quite tell her. So I'm picking up a fruit essence of some kind, I feel like.
Would you say it is a natural essence?
Boy.
Don't look at it yet.
I haven't looked.
So does it feel like a familiar flavor to you?
Kind of. Like,
think of it like as an old friend coming to greet you, but he looks different than he used to.
Like, I could easily see how you could say peach pear or pamplemousse of some kind on this, but I could also see how there's another fruit in there that I just don't even.
This is going to be exciting when you do see what it is that you're holding here.
Can I look now?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay. Okay.
So what do you?
Whoa. Okay. A liter of LaCroix pamplemousse.
And I've got a liter of LaCroix lemon.
I didn't know they made these in a liter,
and that's
why I'm like, okay. It kind of tastes like pamplemousse, but this is in a big ass bottle.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't belong in there, so that can't be the right flavor.
Yeah. It's in a 1 liter plastic bottle.
Wow.
And
that is, I will say, I do think it tastes different in a bottle than a can. I think it does.
And that's not crazy to think. I mean, I think that, people think that beer is different or pop is different out of bottle and can.
Yeah.
So this was sent to us. Nobody noticed, I had the what's in the can today. I don't normally always bring the what's in the can. But I brought it today because Mike Jensen reached out to us. He's out of Washington State.
Old Washington.
He is a big supporter of Mastonomics,
avid listener,
the
friend of the podcast,
close friend of the podcast. And he reached out. He actually sent a snap of these. I think he was in his in a grocery store or somewhere there in Washington, and he sent it, and he said, "Holy crap, look at this!" And I said, "Holy crap, I've never seen that before." And he's like,
know that existed.
He goes, "I'm going to send you guys some," and I'm like, "All right, I won't turn it down."
Does a full liter go past the point of being refreshing? Is that too much fizziness?
Too much for like
to consume?
Well, my wife, when I was getting these ready to, I had to make sure they were chilled before I brought them over, and she goes, "Are you gonna you need to take cups or something because you're not gonna want to drink that entire thing."
"Watch me."
I was like, "Well, it is a resealable bottle, so I suppose you could put it back in."
Wow. I do think it tastes, maybe it's because it's from Washington. Maybe
Yeah.
that's where the different flavor comes from. But I do think it tastes a little different out of a bottle.
Yeah.
Calories are still nothing, in case people were
No, it's larger, but it's still 0.
still 0.
And-
Ingredients only carbonated water, naturally essenced.
Do you think it's more or less refreshing than out of a can? What's your
So I'm glad I got to
do you-
have this.
yeah.
If I had to pick, I think I would go out of a can. There's just a certain level of
Yeah.
crispness that you get in that can.
and you get the
That nice pop in the top. But damn, this is really cool.
Yeah.
If I saw this, I'd be like, no, that's fake. That's a counterfeit.
Well, and we had you also had a what's in the can plan.
I do.
So we actually had to you kind of wanted to do yours, and I had already brought mine, and I really wanted to do this one.
Mm-hmm.
So is yours going to be as good as what I had today for what's in the can? Because this was pretty
It's pretty, well, I mean,
Okay.
this is just like, okay, really? It was like a trick question.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's in the can? It's a LaCroix that we've done all the time, but it's
Yeah.
not in a can. It's
Right.
just, we just changed the shape. I am excited for ours next week, though, Tanner. It's going to be a fun one. So
Okay, good.
for everyone that only listens to this part of the podcast, next week's going to be a fun one.
Yep. All right, sweet. And mine is lemon flavored, by the way.
Not limoncello.
I let you go with
the old
the
reliable.
classic pamplemousse.
Yeah, lemon is one of my favorite flavors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I do like lemon a lot.
This is good.
Lemon and lime, they're both. You just can't beat them. All right, are we ready to talk about our shit for a while
Ooh.
now?
Getting into the real nuts and bolts of this.
So for our people on the visual side of things, you may know.
yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? They're already out now, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not part of any
I
breaking
think if you're a
news here.
podcast listener, you have looked at this stuff. You probably
But
seen
I am wearing the Lift Hard, Live Easy beer hat drinking skull shirt. And God, this is a good
Yeah.
shirt. Tanner, you have, it's harder to see because the
Yeah.
imprint is on the back, but
Right.
you have the neon Lift Hard, Live Easy. Lift Hard, Live Easy. It's almost a lifestyle, isn't it, Tanner?
It is now.
Because if there's one thing I think that we like to think we have down, it's lifting hard and
Living
living
easy. It's a motto. It's our mission statement.
It's who we are.
Yeah.
It does a lot of things. So we put it on several shirts, but God, this skull, like this is just, this just really captures
Yeah.
the Massenomics brand. I feel like.
Yeah, so we had a lot of new stuff drop. Well, I mean, this was probably our biggest drop to date. We said it before, and
So
it
we
really
have
was.
we have this shirt, your shirt.
So the 2 Lift Hard, Live Easy.
We have the 8-bit Highland,
Yep, the 8-bit Highland game
continuing
series.
the 8-bit saga,
Our third in the 8-bit
our third
strength
installment
series.
Yep. After that, is that all? Was it the
That's
three
the three main shirt designs. So then we also had the sticker pack, which is the 8-bit sticker
Yep,
pack.
8-bit sticker pack, new stickers. out in the
Strongman
world.
Powerlifting and Highland Games.
We have the 8-bit sweatshirt.
The 8-bit Powerlifting.
And I gotta hold
crew neck
that thing
sweatshirt.
up for
Yeah, we
anyone
got
that
one of
wants.
those right there. And that turned out really super cool.
Because these are really cool. We now have the Massenomics custom tags sewn into them because you just got to go premium.
and do they say lift hard, live easy on
So
the back,
yeah,
don't they?
the tag, it has the Massenomics logo. It says lift hard, live easy, machine wash cold, yada, yada, Massenomics.com. And damn, these are cool sweatshirts. Like it's a crew neck, which if you like crew necks, this is a bomb crew neck shirt.
Yep.
Like this just looks great. On the tried, true, and tested 8-bit powerlifting imprint on it. So that was, and then we have a restock on the bench heavy
bench
hoodie.
heavy hoodie, the blue bench heavy hoodie, and
The lift crew
and
neck.
that color crew neck is,
like a dark heather gray.
really really dark heather gray, almost like heather black is what I would kind of like. I think it's called like gunmetal or something like that.
It's hardly gray. It's very, very dark.
Right. But then what you said, the bench heavy hoodie, and then we also brought back the lift crew neck. You know, that's the heathered gray crew neck sweatshirt.
By popular demand.
Yeah.
But these are all the sweatshirts for sure on limited quantity.
Yes.
So if you do see those and you're thinking about it, you are going to want to get those because
the sweatshirts definitely limited quantity. Could be like when we sell out, we're not maybe getting them back until next year. If we do the shirts, if the shirts are popular, they'll probably come back, but we don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, I would say, if you're interested in the shirts, just get them because, blanks are harder and harder to get. And with the holidays getting closer, that's not going to make things any easier either.
Yeah.
So if you do see a shirt design you like, it is probably to your advantage to get on that right away.
And as we're recording, the drop isn't till, we're like 20 hours away from the drop. But my guess is as the time you're listening to this, which has been 3 or 4 days after the drop, that one that you're wearing could be questionable what the sizing
it could be getting down there,
because that one we both feel like is going to be quite popular, I believe, because it looks really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like that might be, we've done different things like with different,
like if Massenomics
cool in different ways, but that might be as cool as anything we've done, if you ask me.
Yeah.
What
if we ever have to close up shop, we can say at least we made that shirt.
Yeah. Right. But I do think this one that I'm wearing is really cool. It's also a much different look than
it is a different, like we've never done the left chest with the full back. Like we've never done that before. So it's fun to do some different stuff.
And so all those things that we mentioned, the three shirts, the 3 sweatshirts, the stickers, we've got all that stuff right now. It'll be good. The one thing that we actually don't have in our hands right now is the silly pint that it's supposed to be here tomorrow. So it should be in the drop tomorrow with everything. Yeah, it'll be in the drop. It'll be in the drop. We have 2 colors of the silly pint. So what it is, I guess, if you don't know what the silly pint might
silly pint.
That's
come on,
become
our
verbiage of it between ourselves. But it's a silicone pint glass.
It's like indestructible. You can do anything to it.
It's flexible.
Flexible, and it fits so good with our brand.
Right. And so they're 16 ounces. We have a black one and a red one, and they both have the Lift Hard, Live Easy
skull imprint on them.
Yeah, hat on them. And they're, I think, really cool. I guess I actually don't have them ourselves, but I know what the pictures of them look like, and they seem really cool.
Yeah.
So I've been excited about getting those as much as anything because I just want to start using one of them.
Especially because they were supposed to be here quite a while ago, and it keeps like, when are these damn things going to show up? So
actually kind of happened with all this stuff too. No, it was more so the sweatshirts where I thought they're going to be here like a day or 2 before they were, and then the UPS is behind, and they send me 400 notifications of like delays and stuff. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
We want this for the drop.
We need this. We need it.
So all that stuff does make our biggest drop, though.
And it's going to go good. It has to go good.
Do you have a favorite item of the drop then, do you think?
This skull.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It is. That, and I'm very excited for the silly pint. Hopefully that's not a shitty really product.
You're right.
But it's a different,
I think it's good.
It's a different fun thing. There's a few other brands that also do those.
Yeah.
But it still isn't like a thing that like, the silicone like there's not a lot of companies that do it though.
No.
And so it's just a fun, different product.
So if they go well, that's probably something we'll revisit and further variations in the future
I think so.
We sell through those.
Yep.
But we might be a case where we don't get that exact one, right? That
there's
could
a
be
good chance we might not get it in that yet.
Rotate that out and put a different logo on there or a different color or whatever. So if you were into that silly pint, I would get that now too.
Yep. And
is that everything that we have coming out then?
I think for right now, there's so much because we have so much more coming still for Black Friday.
Right. So this is almost like.
This is to hold people over to Black Friday.
This is almost like, it's 2 different releases. We did this October one and then we had the Black Friday one, but I kind of almost look at it, it's like one enormous release that's split into 2. It kind of
actually is.
And it's kind of, if I had to describe it as something, it's the Lift Hard, Live Easy release. There's other pieces to the puzzle that fill in things there, but to me, it really is like the Lift Hard, Live Easy thing. And that, we joked about that being a motto and stuff, but like when we started to come up with that, it did feel to me like, yes, this is the missing thing that it already describes. Like it we're not changing anything to bring in this lift
No,
hard,
it just
live
fits
easy
the
thought.
Massenomics brand.
It fits
Like,
it perfect. We were just kind of missing that.
We're gonna go to
before.
the gym and lift hard.
Yeah.
but like we're not like we're not 8-man strong.
Right.
Like,
No.
we're not talking about our soul going into the plates or
Right.
whatever. Like that's just not. Hey, there's nothing wrong with
No,
that.
but
That's just
that's not
never really
us.
fit either one of our mentality.
No.
Of I will live and die for the gym, and nothing else in life matters. And
No, it's like lifting is cool and fun, and we like it and support it, and
and
we
that,
like to
that
do
is
it.
the
and-
thing is like it is a fun hobby that we all like a lot, and we do take it seriously, but it is at the end of the day a thing that's done for fun,
Right.
And if it wasn't fun, neither one of us would be doing it,
Right.
You know, like if we weren't
Exactly.
having good
No,
having
if
a
it
good
wasn't
time
fun.
there, we would do something different, like whether
Yes.
that's changing up our routine or maybe even doing something completely different. Like we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't having fun.
for sure. And then
And not a lot of people can admit that.
No,
a lot of
that's
people,
true.
it is life, and they're still not lifting, but it's still somehow life, and like they're in this weird limbo of they don't know what their identity is anymore.
Right. And then the live easy side of it fits in really great with our brand too. You know,
You know,
deeper
you can
into
just
that
sit here with 2 liters of
Drinking a
LaCroix,
crispy
just
one.
living the good life.
That's
you know,
right. That's right.
and that's what we're doing over here.
We are. So you'll see that lift hard, live easy thing on more and more stuff.
Yeah.
You know, thank you cards and custom tags that we've got now. And those custom tags do really have a premium feel to it though, don't they?
Dude, they're really nice. So elevating the brand.
Yep.
So the other thing we're about, elevating the brand over here.
That
We're
is true.
printing
We are really
on
trying
the
to do that, though.
premium tees.
Yep.
With the customized thank you card. We
Yeah.
package all these little goodies in the order for you. We pretty much ship in like a day. Like
They don't call us the
hand-packed-
Amazon Prime
hand
of-
packed by us. And now we're adding the tags in. Like, I mean, come on, we're putting some work into this thing over here, guys.
And we do hand pack and hand thank you card our shipments. There's similar companies that don't, you know, that
And there's
they use
nothing
it.
wrong with that.
But that just
I don't. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're putting a lot of
Yep.
extra care into this stuff,
Yep.
and hopefully it matters to you guys.
so that's the big drop. If you're interested in any of that stuff, I mean, we'd for sure appreciate if you go buy any of it and support us that way.
That would be, very, very. Wasn't
Bingo.
it?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Wow.
That's
All right.
right.
Is that all of our? Is
That's
that all
our
of
drop, I think.
merchandise
Yep.
news this week?
Yep. That's our 10-minute.
Hopefully next
ad.
week we can do the same thing where we're
Right.
like, oh, that went over really well, guys.
Yep.
Not like, damn, none of that sold, and boy, did we hit the mark. Boy, did we miss the mark on what we thought people liked.
Right.
I really
Like,
hope
yeah,
that's.
we're shutting it down
I
this week.
really hope that's not the case.
No.
One of the fun parts of recording in the future, Tanner, is we just don't know.
The unknowns.
Should we talk a little strength happenings in
Yeah.
the world?
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't.
So,
I like this LaCroix on the top of the cap.
yeah,
Did you notice that?
I did see that. In case you forget what you're drinking because the flavor is so light, you know,
Yeah.
you need a reminder when you're looking down at
That's right.
what you have. Okay, there was a. I didn't even know this one was coming up. A World's Ultimate Strongman. There's an S on Worlds there. It's not World. It's Worlds.
It's not Garage Gym Labs. It's Garage Gym Lab.
Yeah, exactly. And there were some people going for the log press world record. Luke Stoltman was kind of the winner for the day. He didn't get the world record, but he did set a new British record at 221 kilos or 487 pounds. Still, Zadrunas' Big Z's record
He's still
stands at
safe.
502 pounds, which
Still seems
damn,
to
that
be
thing
the
just
longest
doesn't.
running.
The thing just doesn't go away,
No,
does it?
They've been battling hard at this log record for a few years
It's-
now, several people, and like nobody can break it.
Which is surprising. Like the deadlift record has fallen
Yeah,
so many times in the
right.
past 5. I mean, if you
And
want
at
to
least in
extend it,
different
if you want to extend it back to
variations
10 years,
and-
the
yeah.
deadlift record has just been destroyed so many times. But
Right.
yeah, the deadlift record between the variations and the stuff, like it just keeps falling all the time. It feels like, whereas this one it doesn't go away.
No.
And you can't really. I guess you could use different logs, but Strongman at this level, the log is fairly standardized in that it's a big wooden log.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
Z's wasn't wooden though. His was metal.
Oh, it was metal?
Yeah,
Oh.
his was.
Okay, is this
And I do think the wooden log is harder than a metal
yeah,
log. It was,
I do too.
you know,
Okay, but wasn't is the one where he did the metal one Oh yeah,
It's like a red.
It's the
thing's
red one.
outside,
That's what
I
it
think.
is. Yeah, that's what. Okay, that's why I was in my mind. I'm thinking of the black. They're all black now. You know,
Yeah,
they're all black
right.
metal logs. But
Yeah.
that's why I couldn't think of it. Okay, but either way, that record is still standing for a long time.
Yep.
And
did you say Rob Kearney?
Yeah, so then
hurt himself.
Yeah, Rob Kearney, who was also a very good overhead presser, he ended up rupturing his triceps tendon in the process. So
You never want that to happen,
no, you don't, especially as a strongman competitor. I mean, really any strength athlete,
especially
doesn't
when
want that, but
pressing is.
But
your,
yeah, when pressing is one of your strong suits,
Yeah.
you don't want that. That's not.
it's not helpful.
It is
It's
the
not
opposite of helpful.
advantageous.
It is the opposite of helpful. And so when I saw this on TV, I have Hulu, like I use Hulu for my cable. I have Hulu Live is what they call it.
Okay.
And it's funny because on their channel guide, I've noticed a lot, and I don't know where this comes from. I think these are usually on ESPN. I'm pretty sure that's what channel these are popping up on. But it always, not always, but a lot of times it does say International Weightlifting Federation. And then you click on it and it's Strongman on. And it's just a weird thing that you see that. But one thing they've been playing a lot on ESPN, and I'd never heard of it, is the Strongman Champions League. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Like I was not familiar with this at all.
Yeah.
And like
I
sometimes
think Travis has done that before.
has he? Okay.
Yeah,
And sometimes you
right.
turn it on. It's like some of these guys seem very, they're strong, but
Right.
they're nowhere near.
Well, no, right.
Like some of the guys are
Yeah.
very clearly out of shape. Like
Right, right.
You're just big and fat, and then with that comes some strength.
Yep.
Your all other facets of the athleticism are out the window. But so then, because I wasn't familiar with
So
it.
those are on ESPN.
They're always showing reruns, and also like these events, from what I can tell, are still going on. In different parts of the world. So I wasn't familiar with it. So I went to the website, like, what is this thing? And I was trying to find, because I did look, because they have standings going back to 2008. And I was like, 2008? Like this thing has been around a while. So like right here, actually, I clicked on 2018 and they have all these different stages, like in Mexico and Romania and Finland. Like it's all over the place. But like the first one I pull up here, placing fourth was Travis Ortmeyer of USA.
Yeah.
And like I hadn't heard.
I think I don't know how that strong SCL thing works, how like people get in the circuit, but there is kind of a circuit. And a lot of the people aren't like it's not the top guys from World's Strongest Man.
But like, do you recognize any of these names right here? Like looking at that standing, any of the other ones besides Travis?
That guy in second, Radzikowski or whatever.
Okay. I thought I'd recognize that. Christoph Radzikowski, or however you say his name.
I'm pretty sure, and maybe I'm wrong, and I think he listens to our podcast, so he'll probably correct me if this isn't right, but I think Jonathan Cotton, who he's bought some Massenomics things before.
Cotton Strong? Is that?
It might be. It is Cotton something. Okay. It's Cotton. It might be something like that.
I think I have that messed up, but
it's something like that.
Yeah.
He, I think, competes in him and his brother. I think both maybe compete in this Strongman Championship League.
So I even went back to, because I was like, who's done this? And even if you go back to 2017, there's that Belsac.
Oh yeah,
and JF Caron was doing it too then, and Novikov is in there.
Okay, so there's all kinds of.
So it's like, these were a lot of guys that were. I just don't really recognize any of the current names. That Christoph Radzikowski, he's right in there with all of them. So I thought it was interesting. Like, to me, this is just kind of completely. Hafthor was in it too in 2015. It looks like.
Okay.
But yeah, this thing just somehow totally flew under my radar, and I didn't notice it. But yeah, it is on TV multiple times a week. For sure on the weekends. Maybe it's just like their weekend fill the gap in, and now maybe that college football's on, it'll go less. But I caught it again this past weekend on TV. So Zadrunas was doing it in 2014, it says. So little something I learned, that there is also other strongman events on TV happening out there to this day.
Yeah. Good.
Is that the full rundown, Tanner?
I think that's the rundown for this half of the show, as you may, right?
We did the rundown correctly there?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we go on to the next spot?
I think so. Are we going to hit him with those money-making ads first, and then?
Oh, we're gonna shake our moneymaker here.
Sounds perfect.
Here we go. Today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large sets the new standard for customer service within the strength world. Get email responses in hours, not days. They now have live website chat support available during the weekdays, so you can get advice from a real powerlifter with actual platform experience. The Lifting Large team wants to help you achieve new PRs in the gym and on the competition stage. When you're ready to try single ply and make your way to the dark side, give them a call. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and it's always in stock and always ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using discount code MASS20 at checkout. That's MASS20 to save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge.com. The Massenomics podcast is also brought to you by Spud Inc. and the Spud Inc. Dip Belt. Every lifter has used dozens of worn-out dip belts that dig into your hips and look like they're about to snap any second. Welcome to the last dip belt you'll ever need. The Spud Inc. Dip Belt is built from comfortable but extremely durable webbing that won't break down no matter how much weight you add. The Spud Inc. Dip Belt comes with 2 feet of chain and 2 spring clips for adding weight. Check out the Spud Inc. Dip Belt online at spud-inc-straps.com. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today there was a Texas Power Bar really going through the ringer at the gym.
There was $650 for a set of 5 from Big Matt, one of the bigger sets I've seen at the
for
gym.
Deadlifting,
Yeah.
and it took it like a champ.
He is from North Dakota, South
North Dakota,
Southeast North Dakota.
just across the border.
So he doesn't always get to make it down here. You know, he's a member and comes whenever he likes to train here, but he has to train up there sometimes. And he did just actually today, he said he liked that red
Texas Power Bar?
Texas deadlift bar
Yep.
so much that he bought his own. Just
Did he
like
really?
It, yeah, and he said it came today. So he said he opened it up and it was just like
a
that.
brand new baby. Yeah.
and that's what he said. He's like, it is like my baby now, you know.
And when it is yours,
Your own,
you should
yeah.
really be able to
and
take
that's why I
good
said,
care
like, you'll be able to keep that mint for a long time.
Yeah, it will be. Yep. And last but not least, this episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle, instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS in all caps. That's capital M, capital A, capital SS in all caps for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Thank you to our sponsors.
Perfect. Now, should we try to get our guest on the horn?
Oh, I don't know why not.
All right.
We clearly have nothing to talk about, Tanner.
No, we talked about all the things we had. So,
Hello.
hello, is this Jackson?
It is, sir. How are you?
Good, Jackson. You are live on the Mastonomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy.
What's up, Jackson?
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
Good.
We're great. We're excited to have you on. We actually mentioned a little bit ago here how it came about. We had Travis Ortmeyer on the show a few weeks ago, And I think you probably heard that episode, and we talked about America's Strongest Man, at least for a minute or two, because Travis is going to be competing in that. And
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
yeah, and we started talking about it through there, and thought it'd be a great idea to have you on the show and talk a little bit more about America's Strongest Man. But I know you, we don't know a ton, but we know you also run Iron Resurgence, which is a veterans advocacy group. You could tell us a little bit more about exactly what you do there, and then we can get into talking more about America's Strongest Man. And do you go by Jackson or Jack?
Typically it's Jack.
Okay.
A lot of people in the community call me Jackson. I don't know, man.
Okay, we'll go with.
We might just have to start this whole interview over now.
Okay,
Tanner.
so we're gonna restart. We're gonna restart with Jack, and it's Jack
Cool,
Jack Reeves, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right on. Yeah, so tell us about what Iron Resurgence is then, first of all, I guess.
Sure, guys. So Iron Resurgence came about, about 3 years ago. I always do this. I should probably Tarantino it. So I'm an Army vet. I got out in 2014. I joined in 2009 at the young age of 19 years old, back when all of our joints were still good and everything still worked. So when I got out, I was deployed to Afghanistan and did my job over there. And
so what year were you deployed? Just out of curiosity, you said you got in 2009.
2011. The majority of 2011. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So when I got back, I was injured overseas, and actually a couple of times. The big one that put me away for about 3 months in the hospital was an IED. Took me down, but yeah. So I was recovering in Bagram, Afghanistan, and then I got back to my unit. Actually, got hit again, and then my commander looked at me and was like, "Is that enough? Are you good now?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. So anyway, I got out in 2014, and I had a lot of struggles. It's in the veteran community. It's kind of rampant, but especially in 2014 with the VA was just not a good system. It's not, it's been improving steadily over the years, but it's not a good system. And it was really, really bad with the prescription opioid epidemic. And so that one was huge. And, I know this doesn't sound like it's going in the right direction, but it is, I swear. So with that stuff, veterans were being pushed to prescription opioids just, relentlessly. And, I remember when I got out, I tell this story to a lot of people. When I got out, the day I left the military, I had to go to the VA to do VA checkout in El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss, lovely. And they gave me 300 Percocet.
Oh, holy cow. Seems like an excessive number.
Right. You would think so, right? So I was like, there's no way. So I went back into the pharmacy and I was like, I think you guys made a typo. There's no way that you were supposed to give me all of these. And they said, no, it's that's right. And I was like, how is that correct? And I'll never forget what the guy told me at the pharmacy. He was like, you'll never know when you'll be able to see somebody at the VA again, man.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, oh my gosh. So that eventually, as you can imagine, that kind of rolled into a bit of a dependency on those types of things. And so I had to figure out something, because I kind of hit rock bottom, and for a little while after the military, and I was like, I have to do something else. So I called up one of my buddies that was in my unit, and I said, what are you doing? He was suffering from kind of the same stuff. And I said, what are you doing? What are you doing to help it? What fixes it? And he said, dude, drop all the pills, as hard as it's going to be, and just get back in the gym. Find solace in the gym and just go, so I started going when I was happy and sad and angry and frustrated and great and joyous. And I used it for everything. And that's kind of when I over the years, I started developing this passion for strength sports. I was a high school thrower and I played football and all that. And I threw a little bit in college. And so I was like, I could promote this. Like, vets need this stuff. So I figured, I was like, how do I help veterans that are struggling with this stuff? And so I said, well, if I help them through strength sports, it gives them a healthier coping mechanism. And that was where IR was born. I started I grabbed any veteran and that was struggling. I put out feelers. I said, hey, if you're having a bad day and you want to come figure this stuff out, dude, come over here and train. I was living in San Diego, California at the time. I was training at this place called Deadweight Strength, and that's where I met a couple of my buddies now that I'm still friends with, and that was years ago. That was in 2016, and then IR started, and but yeah, it's kind of history from there as far as the IR stuff. We still continue to help veterans that struggle, and we give them a healthy coping mechanism, for when they get out, strength sports, strongman, Highland Games, CrossFit, whatever they want to do.
Wow, that's a really awesome cause, and that's quite the story behind it too.
Yeah, I think that's cool what you're doing. Thank you for your service. And
Sure.
I myself am an Army veteran, and I've been through the VA system for things. I would say more minor things.
So you're a sucker too, huh? You signed the line.
Yep. I did. I joined in 2006, and I was deployed in 2009, 2010. And I haven't been through the VA for anything serious, but I can just say, at least from my little anecdotal experience, is that thing is just like a mess. I mean, I actually don't utilize the VA for anything any longer because I have full-time employment elsewhere, and I just use my health insurance. I'm like, I don't even want to it's just not even worth it for me. It's not worth the hassle.
And it's really sad. That's a sad thing because the VA was put in place to help veterans as they got out and to ensure that they were going to have lifelong health care.
Right.
And it's just become any other corporate conglomerate now. It's just such a money making machine that they have just forgotten about what their roots are.
Right.
And the roots are to help veterans. And it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, with the stuff going on in the 2014 to 2016 was like the scandals with the VA where they just started clearing house. They figured out that guys were dying on wait lists, and they figured out that people were getting $1 million kickbacks for referring these people to other. Oh gosh, it was just such a nightmare.
Wow.
Luckily, the VA, the current cabinet went in and just started. They were like, no, you're out. Bye. You're gone.
That's probably a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of the Iron Resurgence piece. And then, part of a big thing of what we want to talk to you about is what term do you use, I guess, as far as your involvement with it? Do you say promoter, organizer, or what is it?
Director? What is that? What is that title?
Yeah. When you're putting on strongman events.
Yeah. I would say I'm a promoter at heart. When you get to the core of the thing, it's just promotions and organization. I go a little bit further with it. As far as and this is not a stab at other promoters, just anything like that. Any other affiliate with Strongman Corporation. Anybody else that promotes through them. I go a little further with it just because my mantra with throwing these shows, because I had been to a couple of Strongman shows, and they were great. Like my first Strongman show ever, Upland, California, it was a guy named Mike Gonzalez up at. He threw Best of the West strongman competition, and I was an amateur, and I went in and I performed, and it was cool. But my mind instantly started turning, and I was like, how do you take this from this to something bigger, something, so I started something not necessarily better, just on a larger scale. And I said, I was like, how do I do that? And so I started researching, other large strongman shows, and then I figured out Strongman Corporation is kind of the staple. They're the standard, and I was like, okay, cool. So I started looking at their shows and nationals and America's Strongest and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could do that. With the help of, I actually started training strongman with Kristen Rhodes, who's a famous strongwoman down in San Diego, and her husband Donnie, and they really. That was the roots of my start in strongman, truthfully. And they kind of helped guide me along the way, and they certainly aided me in figuring out the systems and how to work. And then I just took it a step further. I started contacting sponsors. Promotions, promoter, organizer. That's kind of the title you take. I guess that was a really long explanation to say promoter, organizer.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, that's a good description. So, both Tommy and I have both done powerlifting and strongman. We've competed in both before, but I wouldn't say we're experts on like the organization of strongman. You talked about SC Strongman Corp. The other one I think is USS, and I don't know if they maybe don't get perfectly along with each other. We don't really know about that too well, but we kind of know that it exists. But where does America's Strongest Man, is that a amateur show? Would that be technically considered an amateur show still? And how does it compare to, I know nationals are coming up here like this weekend. We were talking about that. Where does it fit in like the hierarchy of nationals, the Arnold ASM? Sure. How do you fit it there? And I don't know that it's black and white like that, but how would you?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty black and white. So America's Strongest is a professional event. It's professionals only. You have to have a Strongman Corporation professional card issued by Strongman Corporation in order for you to compete in that show.
Okay.
So nationals coming up this weekend, which I'm actually headed out for in about 6 hours. I'm driving to Alabama. But Strongman Corporation Nationals is an amateur show. However, it's everybody that has qualified for nationals, typically through level 1, level 2 shows. You either have to win. So in level 1, you have to win. In level 2, it can be first and second place, depending on number of competitors can qualify for nationals. And when you get to nationals, in the year, you're basically fighting to win. And typically, I'm sorry, it's not typically, it is. First place gets a pro card. That's usually how it goes. That there's also stipulations, like there's people that compete up in weight classes than they are normally. There are pros that actually earn their professional card a little bit, maybe early in the year. However, due to a clause in Strongman Corporation, they're allowed to compete at nationals again. But then the person, since they already have a pro card, if they win, then the person behind them gets a pro card.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, and that's kind of the hierarchy of it. As far as the Arnold goes, getting into the Arnold, you have to go to an Arnold Qualifier. So an Arnold qualifying show. For instance, when I threw War on the Shore last year in 2019, that's an Arnold qualifying show. So first place gets their Arnold qualifier. And then because of our, sheer number of athletes, we had over 100, was 130 registered athletes for that. So because we had so many athletes, second and third in most divisions actually were invited to Strongman Corporation Nationals. So first place went to the Arnold, 2-3 goes to Nationals, in hopes to fight for a spot to go to the Arnold. But the Arnold is kind of the pinnacle where, what's where everybody's trying to get to. But a lot of people are trying to get to nationals as well. It's just one big stepping ladder. You know what I mean? And then ASM is kind of like its own thing off to the side for pros to compete for America's Strongest. And at ASM, they're also fighting to get, they're getting, I believe, well, not all the time, but they can fight to get to the pro stage, especially on the female side, for the Arnold. So, okay. Yeah, it's a couple different avenues. Again, it's kind of hard to follow.
Yeah, it is a little bit, honestly.
It makes sense when you explain it, but it's like, there's a few things to keep track of there.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You have to be well versed, and you have to be willing to answer people's questions, which I'm always willing to do that. So,
and so you listened to us our episode with Travis even, and you probably heard us mention this, but it seemed like from our limited corner of the world here, it seemed like last year, America's Strongest Man, you were organizing it last year, I believe. Was that your first year last year?
So no, I actually wasn't. I didn't.
Okay, you weren't then. Okay. Okay, so this is your first year.
First year organizing Americas. Okay. I went and talked to Dion, who was the president of Strongman Corporation, and I said, hey, I'd like a shot at this.
Okay.
I think I could do it, and so she granted that, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, gotcha. So our thing, in which we said it, is why isn't America's Strongest Man an even bigger deal? We kind of, maybe wrongfully so, we compared it to Europe's Strongest Man, and we say, well, Europe's Strongest Man, it looks like all those guys, like, that they're, dying to participate in that, all the best strongmen from Europe. It's just as prestigious almost as World's Strongest Man, where
like the Arnold,
right.
It feels like it's one of those top 3 events in the world. Where America's Strongest Man, at least in the historical sense,
historically hasn't necessarily been that. Just to our limited perspective, do you think that's right, or what do you think about that?
So I think last week when you guys asked Travis that question, I think Travis did a fairly good job of explaining it. I think personally that, and again, I've only been in strongman. I've only been in the strongman world. I've known of it, for 4 years.
Yep.
So there are guys that have been around that have just been around for a lot longer than me, and they may be able to give a better perspective. But for mine, what I believe what Travis said last week, as far as Europe being kind of an individual sports and
Right.
focusing on individual sports and emphasizing them, really bringing crowds for them. I think that has a lot to do with the sheer size of Europe's strongest man. In America, it's Travis hit it on the head, man. Football, baseball, basketball, they're large sports, and it's a team sport based, and it's truly what is taught for children all the way up to when we're in college and older. It's like team sport.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it is, which is nothing wrong with that. I grew up playing team sports, and I think it's a great character builder and morale builder and moral builder. In England, it's funny, I was actually born in England. So I was born in Lakenheath, England. My father was in the Air Force for a number of years.
Does that mean you can't be president of the United States? Or
I have dual citizenship.
Okay.
Oh, dual citizenship.
Yeah,
that's
I
fancy.
have the dual. Yeah, no, the only reason I would go back is for the fish and chips anyway. But it's it just rains all the time there. It is what it is. But no, with Europe, the way that they're structured in their school systems and what they call grade school, because they all graduate college. I'm sorry, they all graduate high school at I think it's what we call high school, primary, 16 years old, and then they kind of go on to the either university or they pick a trade, blah blah blah. But their school systems, they have rugby and soccer and things of that nature, but they have full programs that are dedicated to tennis, golf. The sports that are truly individual sports. If you don't count tennis as duos, but they emphasize them from a young age. Swimming. Eddie Hall was a world-class swimmer before he ever did anything with strongman. So, and or powerlifting. So I think it's just a cultural thing. To speak to the European side. However, with the American side, you got to think there's a lot of stuff that goes on in America pertaining to strongman. You've got Strongman Corporation Nationals. Yeah. You've got America's Strongest. You've got the Arnold. You've got, and not to mention, you have all these Platinum Plus shows that occur in the United States every year.
On top of having some world-class strongmen too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So for instance, last year War on the Shore, that was a Platinum Plus. It's an Arnold Qualifier. So you got 130 athletes plus a pro division. So 130 amateur athletes and then 10 pros. That's a massive show, so then you've got the other Platinum Plus qualifiers across the United States. So there's so much that goes on in the United States every year that it takes a lot of time and effort. Not to say that it's like people don't want to put effort into other places, like ASM or ASW or anything like that. Because that's not the case. It takes a lot. And I will say this, man, promoting strength sports, promoting strongman in particular, it's not an easy job. It's I would say, I always describe it like this. There's athlete brains and then there's promoter brains. And athlete brains look at competitions and they go, well, why isn't it just like this? Because it directly benefits an athlete, a singular person, right? Or it's advantageous for a person. And then there's promoter brains that look at some of the athlete brains and they go, guys, it's got to be for the greater good and for everybody. It can't just cater to a single thing that you may find that's not advantageous to your training. It's interesting, being a promoter and hearing fielding questions and generalities that people have about the sport or your competition. But to speak to ASM directly, I'm super proud and very blessed that Dion decided to give me a shot at this, because one, it shows that she trusts me after seeing War on the Shore last year, with the help of Kristen Rhodes and the training crew down there. That was great. It shows that she's showing confidence in me, which is awesome. I've been super blessed with all of the athletes that competed in my shows. because truly, and like I've had a lot of promoters ask me, man, they're like, how do you do this? What do you do with this? It's kind of weird. Like, I'm like, I'm just as new at this as you guys are, man, to a lot of people. And they're just like, well, you're doing a really good job. And I'm like, well, I really appreciate it, but it's just about caring. Truly, you have to care, and you have to care wholeheartedly about the competition, and you have to care about how it goes, and you have to care about the scheduling, and you have to care about your athlete's experience, which is the biggest one. Because there are promoters out there, and I will not, I would never name names, and I would never name a competition. But there are promoters out there that it's about money, and that's all it's about.
You can throw them under the bus here. We won't mind.
I'm literally leaving for Strongman Corporation. But no, there are promoters out there, man, that it ranges from level 1 to level 2s to platinum pluses, whatever. They cut corners, and they'll get competition t-shirts that are like a Gildan 50-50 blend versus
classic
versus right versus like a next level or a canvas that's kind of like a form fit that feels a lot better over 2 days. They'll get, instead of having equipment made for the show, which I get it, man. Sometimes financials are financials, and that's how it goes. But well, if you plan a show correctly and you do it right, you'll have financials for that. So building your own equipment and building custom equipment that people are excited to, they look at and you post on Instagram and they go, oh my God, I definitely want to lift that thing. I want to be on, whatever. It's about caring about every single aspect of promotion and the show. And at the end of the day, when you're done with a show and the athletes come up to you, I was awesome last year. Leifa Ingalls, who was, she's a professional strongwoman, and she's awesome. And she walked up to me after the show and she goes, "This is the best amateur show that I have ever been to in my entire life. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're going places." And I was like, awesome. I mean, this is my second show that I ever ran in my life. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I had a bunch of the pro men come out. Stan Carradine is one. He lives out in Colorado, and he came up to me after the show and he was like, definitely be back next year, dude. This is awesome. And these people are traveling. I mean, it's a lot of money. They're traveling from all over the United States, to come to your show. So it's a huge honor when people are like, yeah, you ran a great show and I'm definitely coming back. Anyway, sorry, to segue back into ASM. I think that ASM can be, truthfully, I think it can be bigger than Europe's. I think it can be bigger. I think it can be the biggest show, outside of World's Strongest Man, in the Arnold. I think it can be one of the most premier strongman shows in the world. And I think it has been in the past. I truly have. But with everything going on in the strength world and the strongman becoming incredibly popular and very accessible to so many, throughout the United States, I think ASM I think it's time for it to shine. And it shined in the past, and Dion has done a great job, and Strongman Corporation's done a great job with it. And I'm super honored that they're giving me the opportunity to run it. But as years come, man, I think Travis hit it on the head. I think if we pick up a TV contract and we pick up a couple key sponsors, I think it becomes a massive, massive show that I'm more than willing to dedicate, all the time, whatever I got to do in order to make it the way that I think that it can be.
And so. I think I speak for Tanner too, and I say we would look forward to like that would be really awesome to see something like that. We would be really excited, and we do hope it gets there. But with all that being said, can you tell us a little bit about letting people know when it is, what's going on, what to expect? Like, can you give us the details on the event?
Yeah. I guess we should have asked that earlier, even maybe, but
that's okay. Yeah, we'll get to it eventually. So America's Strongest is being held in Savannah. I live in Savannah now. I moved here for my job from San Diego. So it's in Savannah, Georgia. It's being held at the Savannah Convention Center in Exhibit Hall A, and it's truly a great venue. It's beautiful. It's right on the Savannah River. It's on November 7th and 8th. November 6th will be kind of the load-in and registration day. And it's coming up, man. I mean, I think we're like 3 weeks out right now. It's it's crazy. But yeah, I've got an awesome roster. It's truly like I look at these names on this roster. Well, first of all, I grew up watching Travis on TV.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
like I was a boy when I remember seeing Travis on TV lifting stones. And I was just like, I remember I met him, 3 years ago when he came and emceed the show at my first show ever, Man of Steel, out in California. And I couldn't believe it. Like when I met him, I'm like, oh my God, dude, it's like childhood hero.
Yeah.
Travis Ortmeyer is in my truck right now. I just picked him up from the airport. Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
So it's truly, man, it's awesome. And for this year at ASM, we've got some Titans coming out in the heavyweight division. Stan Carradine, again from Colorado, he's coming out. We've got Jose Baez, who is famous, for beating Larry Wheels in his first ever Strongman show.
Yeah, was that in LA or something then? With that?
That was the Enlisted Expo. Jose went out there and he, everybody, and Larry said he's such a nice guy, man. Like I met him at the expo. He's just such a cool dude.
We've never heard of this Larry Wheels.
Who is this? Who's this? Leonard Wheels?
Have to Google him once we get off the phone here.
Sounds interesting. We'll look into him.
Larry. So he's such a nice guy, man. But everybody was kind of like, okay, so Larry's going to win this thing. And Jose just went out.
Not so fast, Larry.
And fuck that, dude. I'm going to beat this guy. Yeah. So, I remember watching the last event, and, we all knew the time that Jose had to have on the last event to beat Larry. And we're all watching, we're all watching Jose like, come on, man, come on. Yeah. It's run. It's funny, man. Jose actually and I go way back, and we didn't even know it. We actually played football against each other in San Diego, California. We had no idea. We met 10 years after that, but anyway, that's another story. But no, so Jose's coming out. We had a couple of other large hitters, man. Unfortunately, during COVID-19, World's Strongest Man. Not even people not coming, but World's Strongest Man has been kind of hit pretty bad from what I understand for their athlete list, because a lot of guys aren't coming, due to countries locked down, and Canada in particular. I think right now you can't even get back into Canada. Right. That's my understanding. If you leave, you can't get back in. They've kind of been stripped of their list. So, World's Strongest Man started calling a couple of guys that were on the ASM list, and they were like, "Hey, come to our show."
Yeah, and they're not going to turn that down.
Poaching our talent over here.
Why? Never. And I don't hold any ill will towards those guys.
Well, you can say how you really feel, though. You can really sound off on them right now if you wanted to.
No, man, I truly don't. Like, I don't hold any ill will towards those guys. It's exactly what they trained for. When they started Strongman, I'm sure that they looked at World's Strongest Man, and just like me, when they were a boy, they were watching it on TV, and they were like, I want to do that one day. And then they call you and they say, hey, come on over. And you're like, well, I'm kind of at this show. No, absolutely fucking not. Of course you're going to World's Strongest Man.
Right. And so do be on the lookout. Massenomics sponsored Strongman. Brad Neitzel is on his way to compete at Strongman Nationals right now, and he is really gunning for
Neitzel.
He's
Brad Neitzel.
Yep, Brad.
Yeah, yep. I've talked to Brad.
Yep,
actually,
he is gunning and hoping to make his bid to make it to America's Strongest Man. So just talked to him a couple days ago about it.
I was like, that name sounds familiar. He contacted me and he was like, hey, just let you know, I'm trying to come to your show this year. Yeah, I'm like, got to get your pro card first, buddy. Yep. And he was like, I'm working on it. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. There's actually a lot of people I've gotten so many messages from people, I've trained with out in California. Mike Salter is another one. He's out there. He's really gunning to win the heavyweight too, because he wants to come out to ASM. And, it's a lot of really, really good competition this year. So we're excited. But for ASM and not just America's Strongest Man, but I'm also running America's Strongest Woman. We have the lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight women that are coming out. Some big names there, man. Jessica Fithen, Melissa Edwards, Gabby Bergholzer, it's just Laura Anderson and Kristen Graham. She's new. We have a lot of really, really good athletes. Rebecca Lorch, coming out. Laura Anderson. So we're excited. I'm definitely excited to see all these people. And I know that they all want to kill me for changing the last event from stones to sandbag medley. But logistics. Yeah. They were like, no, you can't take all these across the country or you're going to bottom out your truck. So I'm like, all right, sounds good.
It's like heavy stuff is heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I actually just got back about a week ago. No, less than that. From driving, I drove all the equipment across the country. San Diego to Savannah.
Oof, that's a drive.
That was a good time. Yeah, 2,800 miles. Good time.
Well, if your journeys ever take you through Northeast South Dakota, you're always welcome to stop and pay us a visit here.
Guys, man? What town? What town are you guys in?
Aberdeen, South Dakota. Yep.
Aberdeen. So I've driven through Rapid City.
Okay.
You're only 6 hours away.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And then I was doing some training for the Army actually up in the Black Hills at one point. But that was about a week of my life I never want to remember.
Just imagine like kind of the opposite of that. And that's kind of what we are.
Yeah, it's not anything like what Rapid City and Black Hills are like where we're at. It's as flat as a pancake and not many trees.
Oh my God. Well, it sounds like a blast, guys.
There's also not much around either,
And isolation.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that the best food in town's at a gas station, I'm in, dude. I'll cruise through there. No big deal.
Yeah, that's not always incorrect. So we always kind of towards the end we always move to overrated, underrated. And are you you're familiar with the segment? I believe, right?
I heard it. I've heard a couple other shows. Yeah,
okay,
I heard.
Perfect.
I was talking about South Africa, last episode. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah. Okay, so you do have your druthers. You get to decide how you answer and how long you answer and everything like that, but you just can't ride the fence. You got to pick an overrated or underrated. And we did hand pick some topics for you here. So, Tommy, do you think is it time to get into it then?
I think it's time.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So, topic number 1 of overrated or underrated: max deadlift events. Overrated or underrated? And I don't even know if there is a max deadlift event at ASM this year.
Yeah,
we didn't even.
No, there's not.
Okay.
But, oh my God, no. We have something called a basket deadlift. I'll send you guys videos.
Okay.
Anyway, so boy, max deadlift overrated from an athlete side. Underrated. I think a lot of athletes kind of dread the max deadlift event. Just for people that don't have like superior posterior chains, and they're just not, it's not their gig. I'm personally, I'm a presser, so I'm just like, I don't even need that. I don't even need that. That's dumb. What do you need your lower back for? From a promotion side, oh God, max deadlift events, dude, they take so long. Especially with depending on the number of athletes you have. So I'm going to say,
there you go. That's a different perspective. Than
I never thought about that part of it.
Yeah, well, you got to think, man. So if you have 130 athletes, if you break it up into three different sessions across the day into 4 hours with an hour-long lunch break and 3 30-minute staff breaks, oh my God, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You're like, how do I even run that? You're here till midnight getting people's max deadlift.
Right.
So I guess my official stance, man, max deadlift. I'll appease the athlete side. I'll say underrated, but I don't want to.
Okay. And that just made me think, what from your history is the worst event you've ever had to, what type of event is the hardest or most difficult or sucks the most from the promoter standpoint? From the promoter standpoint,
okay. All right, I'll hit this from two ends too. I love hitting it from two ends, on the athlete and the promoter. So I'll start with the promoter side. The hardest event to run by far are death medleys. So medleys, of 3 to 4 implements and moving them 50 feet at a time.
Yeah.
That is, so we ran one at Man of Steel in 2017, 2018. and it was on the heavyweight men. I believe it was a 275-pound sandbag, a 250-pound keg, and then a 550-pound sled that was pulled via a chain and a backwards drag. That event was so incredibly hard to reset sometimes because so like
drop the bag in the middle.
Right, they dropped the bag or they dropped the keg, and then all of a sudden they only pulled the sled. They pull it perfectly 25 feet, so it doesn't matter which way you go. So you're like, son of a bitch, So you got to reset this 550-pound fucking sled. You're just like, oh my god. So from that standpoint, I think the death medleys, man, no matter what the implements, 3 to 4 implements having to move 50 feet, it's rough on promoters and staff. From the athlete side, I will say, well, I know what everybody's going to want me to say. So, War on the Shore 2019, we had a Conan's wheel. Okay. And the Conan's wheel it was built by Ryan Danielson. He's actually Kristen Rhodes' brother. That Conan's wheel took the souls of a lot of people, of a lot of athletes. They picked it up and moved it 6 feet.
Yeah, right.
And you're just like, and not even from resetting it, but to train for that, because you literally have to train front Zercher carries.
Right.
Which is like, nobody wants to do that.
No,
like why would I want to destroy my entire body, for a 60-foot run? I was so, from a promoter side, death medleys, athlete side, particularly our Conan's wheel. Okay. But Conan's wheels in general.
Yeah, I've done Conan's wheel one time in a competition before, and it's probably one of my least favorite events I've ever done, I would say. So
right, I mean, because your whole body is taxed at the end of it, and you're like, oh, wow, did I do good?
I actually kind of like saw stars, or like almost passed, like I fell against the thing too, because I got like that feeling where you're not getting any air to your head, and like where I was gonna fall over.
That's like I don't know what the diameter was of your guys' of the Conan wheel you did, but the diameter of ours, it's like, I think it's like an 8-inch pipe. It's huge.
Yeah,
you can't breathe at all.
Right.
And I mean the winning run was, so it's 60 feet to make one turn. I think the winning run was like, oh my gosh, I think it was almost 2 turns. I think the guy almost did 2 turns.
Okay.
Passed out.
Yeah.
Literally on he passed out completely on the wheel. And we were like, oh boy, get his belt off.
Yeah.
Make sure he's breathing. The whole crowd's looking like, oh my God, is he dead? And we're like, no, he's fine. Wake up.
Yeah. Please be fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's the official narrative on that one, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Topic number 2, overrated or underrated, Army PT.
Over fucking rated.
Figured you'd probably say that.
Okay. All right. Let me elaborate here. Army PT. So, man, if you get a good unit and you're at a good unit, so I was with 10th Mountain. I grew up in 10th Mountain, right, in Fort Polk. And 10th Mountain is a fairly prestigious infantry unit. If people aren't familiar with it, I know you're probably familiar with it because you've heard of the Army.
Right.
So PT at that unit was fucking rough. It was rough, and simply because the 10th Mountain took so much pride in being able to run really far.
Right.
I don't know why we did that, but they loved it. I mean, once a week, it'd be like, okay, your company commander comes down. He's like, you know what, boys? I feel like going on a 15-miler. And you're like, but nobody else feels like that. Why are we doing that? That's dumb. What are we doing here, guys? But now, but that was Army PT back, even back, 6 years ago when I got, oh, Jesus, time flies. But Army PT now, from what I understand from my buddies that are still in, it's changed a lot, with the combat PT test, and, kind of a more real world scenario.
Oh, I like the sound of that new test much better. I think that is way more applicable to actual like real life scenarios.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of, with the body drags and the ammo can runs and the full kit, rucks, and that's way more realistic. Let me tell you something, man. I can't think of a single time that I ran over.
Of course, no.
Well, I guess,
yeah. Of course not. That's not real. Nobody does that.
I ran over a mile one time in Afghanistan, and let me tell you something. It was running for our lives, so like we're running away from a large enemy element.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only time that I have ever run over a mile, and it was a dead sprint. And we were almost all dead due to asphyxiation at the end. So, it's something that 100 to 200 meter sprints way more applicable.
For sure.
Sure. So Army PT, pre 2010. Way overrated. Army PT, more of a modern stance on it. I think it's applicable, neither underrated or overrated. I just think it's something that needs to be done in order for our soldiers to be, physically and mentally prepared.
Yep.
So,
right on.
Yeah.
All right. Overrated or underrated? The old car flip strongman events.
Way underrated.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, just from a promotional and an athlete standpoint, dude, that is one of the coolest looking events, aesthetically pleasing events that you'll ever see. And then, from a promoter stance, like I'm actually looking, this will be an exclusive on the Massenomics podcast.
Oh, we like those.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So 2021, one of my events will have a car flip.
Oh,
bringing it back.
Yeah, dude,
I
it's just
it.
like, oh, come on, man. You literally go down to like junkyards, and they'll be like, hey, give me like 4 Volkswagen Bugs, or like give me a couple of year old Volkswagen buses. You have a good metal fabricator, and I know several, but my buddy Ryan over there in San Diego, you go, hey man, I want you to fabricate these things so they can't crush if they get flipped over, and I want you to reinforce them, and then you basically put a deadlift bar attached to the frame.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, here you go, boys. Flip her over. And resetting them is really not all that hard. And you can weigh them down with different things, sandbags and the wheel wells, or you can weld, plate carriers or plate holds inside of them, and then secure them down and just add weight that way, to the bottom end. So yes, but in 2021, you heard it here. There will be a car flip in one of my events.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time, man.
Whenever
way underrated.
Whenever there's a car involved,
of any kind,
things are going but good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, well, yeah. ASM has an arm over arm truck pull this year.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of like, I'm hoping that my heavyweight men can move it. I think it may be one of the heaviest arm over arm truck pulls in strongman history. It's it's an arm over arm of basically an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see.
Time will tell.
It's a big one.
Indeed. Yeah. It's a good.
All
time.
right. For we always save like the hardest hitting topic for last on overrated, underrated, and this one's usually like, the most polarizing and uncomfortable,
controversial.
Yeah, controversial.
Yeah.
Makes you stirs up like a lot of weird emotions and that sort of thing. So, okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready for all of that? All of
So
that.
what is it? Like your favorite dessert, cake or pie? Don't do it, dude. Because I'm not gonna be able to decide.
Overrated or underrated? Georgia peaches.
Oh man. I will say
as a Georgia transplant now,
Right. Well, here's something you also didn't know. I'll tell you this. So I was born in England, right? But I grew up in the South. So I grew up in Mississippi.
Okay.
Right. So I've been to Georgia multiple times in my life, and every time I ever went to Georgia when I was a kid, it was normally during peach season, and I'm going to say Georgia peaches are incredibly underrated for a number of reasons.
Okay.
I'm going to say for a number of reasons. One, everyone always thinks like, oh, Georgia, what's Georgia known for? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Georgia? I mean, Georgia peach, right? Other than Georgia Dogs football. So Georgia peaches, man, a lot of people think that they're like these really big peaches. They're actually very small. And, when you get them, you're like, that's it. For real? Okay. And then you bite into it and you're like, oh my God, this is like the best thing I've ever had in my life. And they grow, a lot of them grow naturally and they grow wild out here.
Really?
And
I didn't know that.
I did not either.
This is Georgia. The peaches grow wild.
Oh. We only have weeds here. Like delicious fruit doesn't wildly grow here.
Yeah. Fruit doesn't grow here, so at all.
You're like, oh, look at this delicious snow.
This snow is yellow.
Oh, look, this snow is actually sleet, and it's March. So
It's wetter than other snow.
ooh, yeah, ooh, this snow actually never melts all year. Ooh, it only compounds in the ice. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
No, I'll say that Georgia peaches are underrated. I know that there are people that would say that peaches are overrated, that the peaches here are overrated, and those people can, go back to communist Russia. Well, whatever they want to do, go back to wherever they came from. Yeah, so that's good, man. I really thought that last one was going to be like way worse. Oh God, I was like, here it comes, some political.
No,
God,
Georgia peaches is about as political as we get.
Yeah.
Which is completely off the political spectrum.
Which is exactly how we want it to be.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, thank God. I'm glad he didn't make me choose between what do you like better, cheesecake or cannolis? And you're like, oh no, I'm gonna offend so many people by choosing one. But
no, I would say you definitely passed overrated, underrated. You did.
Yep.
You did well there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's good.
So Iron Resurgence, I know, is on Instagram. Is it at Iron Resurgence on Instagram? I think.
Yeah. So it's at Iron_Resurgence.
Okay.
And that's me. You can. Follow me, do whatever, hang out. Don't follow me, check my page out, whatever.
Yep. And if people want to know more about America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Women, and that stuff, is that the best place to go through for that stuff then too?
Yeah, truly, that's the best platform right now. Next year, I'm working on a bigger and better website for Iron Resurgence as a whole, so people can just go to that website and kind of just learn more about IR, and then obviously all our events. But right now, our Instagram is kind of the best platform to learn about everything that you want to know about ASM and ASW. So yeah, that's what I got going. I know that there are a couple people also promoting it. Kind of fit, kind of fat.
Yeah.
Or they just put a post out today. Obviously, Strongman Corporation, and then one of our larger sponsors is actually Strength Fleet Collective. They'll be promoting it as well. That's Anthony Furman's and partners. New stuff.
Yeah, that's new. I've seen that.
Yeah. No, Strength Fleet's awesome, man. It really is. It's going to change the whole game of like online training. It comes out. I think they're in their initial coding, their final coding phases. So that website should be out in like the next week, 2 weeks. But yeah, when it drops, man, decides it's going to be just massive. It's going to be awesome. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's me. That's me in a nutshell, dude.
All right.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's really cool to talk to you guys and be able to promote ASM, and hopefully you did a good job of staying neutral.
Yeah, you did. You did a good job.
Yeah, you did.
No, we're excited for America's Strongest Man. We get to be a small sponsor this year, and we're hopefully be able to.
I'm super stoked that you guys are on.
Hopefully we'll get to be more of a part of it in the future years as it grows here too. So we're excited.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Hey, man, I'm telling you that whole live broadcast. You guys come down, do some commentary, get some talking heads, office style.
You never know what's going to happen in 2021. I could see it happening.
Hey, man, I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah.
We start building up these characters. We start, who's gonna be the Jim Halper of 2021 Strongman. Like, who knows, man.
Tanner will get going on that rundown right now.
Yeah. Get to work on that rundown.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We'll pick him. We'll figure it out. Yeah, good times.
All right.
Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jack.
See you later.
All right. You guys have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Mr. Jack Reeves.
That's the man.
Jack
Reeves, Iron Resurgence, America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Woman, November something. I already forgot the date.
Yeah. I want to say
21st, I think.
6th.
Okay.
Maybe it's 21st.
Okay.
Numbers, Tanner.
Yeah, you looked at
It's
it.
too late
We
for
already
numbers.
said it. You
Yeah.
you listened. You heard
You
it.
can rewind back.
But
to
we
that
are
part.
a sponsor. Massenomics is one of the sponsors of the event this year. So
Yeah.
we're trying to do our part of giving back. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, back with the episode with Travis, we kind of criticized America's Strongest Man and said, "Why isn't it bigger?"
Yeah. And
And-
here we're putting our money where our mouth is.
We're by literally putting our money where our mouth is. We're contributing a little promotion to the event by having them on the podcast, find out more about it, and B, actually the monetary sponsor of the event.
And we want that damn thing to be bigger.
Exactly.
It would be awesome for America to have a huge premier strongman
And as it
event.
gets bigger, we want to have a bigger part of it too. You know, it's
Exactly.
like it's good for us, good for them, good for everyone that's interested in
It'd
strongman.
be a lot of fun. It would
And
be.
you know what it really is at its core? Do you know what
I have a feeling of what it. I have a feeling
its-
of what it should be
really
and what
at
it
its
is.
core? Yeah. What you?
Cool beans. Massenomics.
Bingo. It's cool
All of
beans.
those cool
yes.
beans, especially.
Yep. That's what it is. It's cool beans. Jack
I
was
like
Jack was a cool beans guy.
Very cool beans guy. Seems to really know his stuff.
Yeah. Knows more about strongman than we do, that's for sure.
He does.
It's the inner workings of all the amateur,
you don't-
like
you don't-
semi-pro
You don't know that
strongman.
unless you're in that
Yeah,
world. You
you
can't.
don't.
It's so hard to be like a spectator and understand that part.
It is.
It's not like powerlifting, like USAPL, where it's like there's like nationals, then after there's regionals,
Arnold,
then nationals,
yeah,
then there's
yes.
worlds. Like it's not like
Right,
this.
right? And then there's the Arnold, which is the side thing, you know. But it's
But there apparently is a clear path, but it's not
Yeah.
easy to wrap your head
No,
around from an outside perspective.
yeah. It's the people that are in it tight that really know that, and everyone else doesn't really. But
Yeah.
we know more than we knew an hour ago.
Now will it stick is the real test, Tanner.
No, probably not. I'll have to ask
Between the
someone
two
again.
of us, we'll probably get it
we
figured
pieced
out.
some things together. Is there anything else we got to tell everyone about today?
Well,
did we?
it's getting down.
How far did you? Damn, you made it farther than me. I was just thinking. I think I'm going to finish this thing.
I'm at the last sip of my liter of LaCroix here.
I've got a little. Not much farther to go. I'll finish it here yet tonight. But I hadn't paid attention to you. I was like, I bet Tommy didn't drink this much.
No,
of it.
I was actually specifically going into this very thirsty.
Yeah.
So a liter worked out pretty good in my favor tonight, Tanner.
a liter of cola.
A liter of pamplemousse. I think that was the other line they had for the movie, but it didn't flow quite as well.
Yeah, pamplemousse didn't sound as good as a liter of cola.
Less relatable.
Yeah. So Massenomics stuff. We talked about all of the new gear that you need to be buying. You know what? Damn it. I know we're past, we're going long here, but I just have really quick reviews, and I would like to get up the reviews because I want to keep people coming back for more reviews.
Yep,
So I got 3 really quick ones we'll cover. And this one's called Great Pod, and it's from C Crab 1984. This is definitely one of the best pods on the internet. Period.
Awesome.
Good review there.
It's one of the best reviews on the internet.
It's top 250 reviews that we have because I think we're at about 250. So, and it was 5 stars. Next one is also 5 stars. It's from C Marzarella. Great content, great guest, strong content, and funny AF personalities.
Oh, yeah. He's probably talking about our guests when he says that, though. Not
True.
us.
He's like, hey, the hosts have terrible personalities.
Just get them
but
out of the way.
The guests, like Jack Reeves,
Yeah.
they have great personalities.
Yeah.
You guys suck. And the last one for today, 5 stars also, and it's from Kelly 3 Gall. Title is My Husband Told Me To, ... I'm the wife that buys her husband all the shirts. He looks incredible in them. He already left you guys 5 stars, said I needed to do the same. And like a good wife, I do what I'm told.
Wow.
I have to question whether that is really his wife doing it or if that is him on his wife's phone.
It's like Inception going on there.
Yeah, because my wife would never say, and like a good wife, I do what I'm told.
Or leave a podcast review if I ever
right,
told her to.
Right. But yes, do that. Steal your wife's phone and leave that second review.
Yeah.
Anything that it takes to get us to this.
Or have a wife that will leave her own podcast.
Right,
reviews.
right,
That's
for
impressive.
sure. And we're still not on the road to 300, but we're on the road to 300.
And it's getting closer.
Yeah, I think
we're
we're
getting
right
closer to taking that
I think
exit
we're at
ramp.
249.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting right there.
It could almost be that meme where, the guy takes that road and it's the road to 300. And I don't know what the other one is, but
The road to nowhere. I don't know.
yeah. Any other podcast.
Yeah.
Leaving a review for any other podcast. But yeah, so we're getting close to 300. So leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you listen to the show, I know there's more than 250 people that listen to the show. I mean, I know that we know the numbers.
We have charts and numbers.
There's
and graphs,
many more
graphs
people that
can
listen
support
to
that.
it. So go ahead and this is the one you've thought about it many times and you've thought, nah, those guys are stupid. I don't need to leave a review
now
for them.
is your
But now you can be
time.
like, yeah, I'll do it. And then beyond that, if you really like the show and you really want to become like a close personal friend of the podcast, the best thing you could do is become a supporting member.
And you can do that by going to Massenomics.com/join.
And Tommy, this is, I literally haven't even, oh no, say that, finish that. And then I have something really good to say. Yeah.
Massenomics.com/join. You can go right on.
Yeah.
Several levels to support. We are happy to announce we did have another person graduate to the Swim Hack Grand Slam.
Yes.
So there are some mega fans out there, and we're always proud to see this tremendous support we get from people.
So that's a challenge right now. It's just those two. It's the two of them up there hitting dingers off of the mountaintop still, but the James has company now.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was going to say, I hadn't even pitched this to you yet. It's a thought I had like earlier this week. And we'll just talk about this idea real quick live
Business
on air.
meeting.
Yeah.
All right.
What
You
do
guys
you
are
think
gonna peek at
about
the inner
we do
workings.
a giveaway, a very lucrative giveaway, like something where the grand prize is pretty sweet. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what that is yet, whether it's money or something besides that. But it's only open to
the
supporting members.
I like that.
And we run this. We give a period of time to allow people to become supporting members here.
I like it.
To get a few more in there, and
during that time, we'll figure out a way to not let people cancel, so they're in for life. The perfect
no,
plan.
this is a lifetime monthly membership. No, but you would of course be allowed to cancel. So
Yeah,
you
you
could, in
would.
theory, just join to get in on the contest. But
But if you're going to sign up, we know you're a good person, and you wouldn't do that. To us.
right, you would never even think about it.
And you wouldn't even think about ever signing up for anything less than the $20 level.
No, what are you, some sort of dirt?
It would
bag?
just be, okay,
Yeah.
am I going to do the $20 level or the Grand Slam?
Yeah,
like that would be
yeah.
the only decision to
Right.
make.
But don't you think that's a potentially good idea?
I think that's a cool thing, an awesome thing for the people in that club. And
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Yeah, I think we'll talk more
On
that.
top of, and we keep these on the down low a little
Yeah.
bit, but on top of the other benefits that they see, the only way you can find out what those benefits are is to sign
That's
up
true.
at Massenomics.com/join.
There are some people that have said they joined exclusively for the exclusive benefits, and I
a few
don't
people-
think they've been disappointed by all the many
Yeah.
benefits that they receive. Number one, probably though, being a close friend of the podcast. Like
That is
the only way to
something-
get title of friend of the podcast, like we've talked about, either A, be Brad Gillingham, or be a supporting member.
Those are the only two ways. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, one's easier than the other. So that's our stuff. Like us on YouTube, Facebook, yada yada yada.
Yada, yada, yada. That's right.
Tommy, where do they find
you can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Baird, but please, more importantly, make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
Oh,
Cut it.
cut it.
Cut it.
Remix.
We've never done that before. but
Remix.
This show
Oh, boy.
is brought to you by
I was
Lifting
wondering
Large.
what you were going to do
Yeah,
there.
Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. Psyched you all out. Psyched myself out. They have live website chat
Everyone's
support.
like, why is the episode still going? I turned it off. I got to see what's going on.
And speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock deadlift slipper, and they are always in stock and ready to ship. One note on that, Lifting Large has talked about maybe changing what we say here. So this might be the last opportunity to say that the Ground Lock deadlift slipper
Is
the
Massenomics, is the podcast of Massenomics? I don't know.
You know what it is. It's really good.
Yeah, you know
it's
what
a good
is.
thing.
What that is.
And you can buy it at liftinglarge.com or any of their branded products, and also couple that with our discount code MASS20. It'll save you 20% at checkout. Today's episode is also brought to you by Spud Inc. The goal of Spud Inc. Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is online. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They are your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. And we've got the discount code with them that saves you 5% off any of the training or nutrition memberships for the life of the membership, and that discount code there is MASS in all caps, hybridperformancemethod.com. And last but not least, this episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the legendary Texas Power Bar. Visit them at texaspowerbars.com.
All right.
There we go.
Cool beans.
Cool.
Cool